Good morning. It's Monday morning. It's 5:30 in the morning. I just left camp. I woke up a little later today since I figured I'd wait until the sun came up a little bit higher or closer to coming up. And I have a little less mileage to do today. So just got started. Had a good night. It was hot and humid again last night. Temperature dropped a little bit, but very slightly. Almost no breeze at all most of the night. I never used my sleeping bag. It just feels like you're sleeping in a garbage bag, like a wet, slippery mess. So I actually laid on my pad and just used the liner on my feet if they got a little chilly, but I left my socks on so they stay dry. Everything else is wet. Like I took my pants off. It just wicks moisture out of the air, so they're totally damp, even though they were dry when I went to sleep. So, but we're gonna push and do another mileage day. I think I'm looking at about 23 miles today, 22 to 23, and I'll check in later once it's lighter. I forgot to give a little update. Medically speaking, both my blisters, I took off all the KT tape off my feet last night, let them air out overnight, cleaned them, and this morning I put on new KT tape. Both blisters on both the left and the right leg looked good. They were shriveled up and dried a little bit, so there was no fluid inside of them. So when I started out today, I don't know how that's going to be when I end. I'm expecting it to probably fill up again, but for at least starting, the blisters look good, and they're covered with fresh KT tape. I've been going through it faster than expected, but I did bring a lot, so hopefully I have enough to last me till the end. I'll probably not even bother taking it off tonight unless there's a really bad blister and I need to pop it and I want to see it. Otherwise, I'll just leave it covering it and keep my feet clean and dry as much as possible, and hopefully that'll be good until I can reach Cumberland. Good morning. It's 5 minutes after 7. I just passed mile 131. I've gone 4.5 miles so far this morning in an hour and like 40 minutes. Haven't passed anyone, haven't even seen another person, just animals. Even passing a tent campsite, I didn't even see other tents. So, like usual, I seem to have the trail to myself mostly for the first 3 hours or so. Just doing what I do, walking off the miles. They're not going to walk themselves, so you got to do it. Other than that, it's a pleasant walk. I mean, it's the trail. This is what it's looked like pretty much the whole time. There's a couple of exceptions, but this is generally what it looks like. It's crushed gravel. It's hard on your feet, but you know, it's easier than walking through brush, and very little elevation change. It's mostly a slope going up, and the campsites are stationed pretty regularly with water available. And speaking with the cycling people, I guess this is like a really attractive site for cycling people. People travel all over to get here, kind of like the AT is. So I didn't realize that. And they do this in conjunction with the Gap, or the Great Allegheny Passage. So they'll do both of them together. I think the Allegheny is like 150 something miles, and this is 184. So you can make a nice run. It takes about 7 days, they say, if you're a pretty good cyclist. Otherwise, you'll do longer if you can do good mileage. And if you start in the north and go south, it's obviously downhill. So, with a couple of ups, but most of the time it's just running downhill. I am interested in what's going to happen at the Pawpaw Tunnel, but I don't have to worry about that till tomorrow. Maybe I'll run into some people and I can find out a little better. But my understanding is I'll have to do the 1.5 mile bypass trail it goes up about 300-400 feet and comes right back down, bypassing the tunnel. I'll probably walk back to the tunnel just to say I went there, but I'm not going to probably walk through the whole tunnel and then walk back. That would add like an extra 1.5 miles that I'm probably not going to do. Being that I'm going to hope to finish today about mile 149, that will leave me, 2 days of, to do basically 35 miles. So if I can keep my mileage up like I'm doing now, I'll easily hammer those out in the next 2 days. So my plan is to finish on Wednesday. Still hot and humid today. Occasionally I get a little cooler breeze here. I'm still shielded by the sun mostly in this tunnel of green, which is nice because a couple of times yesterday when I was out in the sun in the midday, it's brutal. And when I was walking around town, it was really hot. Nothing else new to report. Seeing a lot of deer this morning. I've surprised several of them or come upon them. But just chunking off the miles and keep walking. I'll check in later. Good morning. It's 11 minutes after 8. I just walked past mile marker 134. I've walked about 7.5 miles, and I've been walking for 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I still have not seen one other person, whether walking or biking yet, on this trail. So, seeing lots of animals. So the creatures are out, I'm out, but no one else seems to be. Maybe everyone's taking it easy, resting a little bit. I'm a little more than, I guess, a third of the way into my planned trip for today. I'm going to try and do about 23 miles and stop at around mile marker 149 at a campsite there. Coming up on another reason I started late was there's a well-known place along the trail called Bill's. They sell like burgers and stuff like that, and they don't open up till 11 o'clock, and I was hoping to get to their site around that time, although when I just had a little reception while walking, it looks like they're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So once again, my timing is great. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter, I'll just keep walking past it. Well, it's 9:05, and that's Randy once again passing me. I guess yesterday he stopped in Hancock due to the rain that was predicted and was coming through, and got a hotel room. And I was in town the same time, but he was there a little later than me. I had already left town and was at my campsite. He was there, he said, later in the afternoon. When the rain, there was lightning and everything last night, like around 4 or 5. So he decided to stop in there and get a hotel room. And he got food at the same place, that Sheets. So we were joking around about how, it would have been funny if we would have run into each other there. But can't believe he came up on the trail behind me. And we talked about 10 minutes or so about the upcoming bypass to the Pawpaw Tunnel. He was unaware of that. And pleasure to see someone you know and just chat. And while I was there, 2 bicyclists came going northbound. And earlier, just before he cut up to me, 2 bicyclists had gone north. So like around 8:40 or so, 8:30, 8:40, I started seeing people in the bicyclists. These are the early birds that are out. So he's getting an early start, and he's looking to do a lot of mileage. He's going to make it almost to Cumberland today, he's hoping. So he's trying to get some miles. He's already done like 12 or 13. So, which is a little more than me because he started, 2.5 miles from me. So I'm at 9.5. So he's at 12 or 12.5, right? Obviously coming from the hotel. So he's looking to do like almost 60 miles today to make it to just outside Cumberland. He's going to stop short and stay at the last campsite before Cumberland. And then he'll go into Cumberland tomorrow and resupply. So that's enough on him. Feet feel great actually today. Best probably in several days. They're still talking to me, of course. They're not happy. But the blisters and the areas of trouble don't seem to bother me. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, there's a dull ache every time I step down, but nothing like it was the last couple of days or when the blisters were there. So I'm hoping I've kind of addressed that and mitigate any further issues with them. Hello. I just wanted to discuss, I'm walking through what's called an aqueduct. And you've seen me walk over a couple of these before. I usually take a picture from high up. And I don't think people realize where I'm traveling right now is where the canal actually itself went. So this is where the boats in the water would be flowing. This is all a man-built structure. So basically it's an aqueduct. Basically it's a road, it's a bridge for the water to continue going. Otherwise it would spill into this creek or stream down below. So by enclosing it in these walls, you're keeping the water contained, and it continues to flow, enabling the boats to continue uninterrupted their path down the canal. So, I mean, that's to me a major undertaking of building a basically bridge for water so that these canals and the boats can move. It's just, to me, incredible. So, and there's several of these throughout the canal. This is not by any means an exception. I think there's like 13 of them or something total. So, and figure this was done, basically 150 to 170 years ago. What an undertaking that was. It's 10:15. I just left the Indigo Neck campsite, which is at mile 139.2. The next campsite is at Devil's Alley, which is a great name, about 5 miles. In between that, I'll pass 15 Mile Creek, which there's the possibility of there being food or a store there. There is a small little town there. So anything's possible. I'm expecting that without a stop, I should reach Devil's Alley in, an hour and 45 minutes or something like that for 5 miles. So that would take me to approximately 12 o'clock. And then I would just have 5 more miles to go to reach the goal for the day, which is Stickpile Hill at mile marker 149.4. So it would be another 4.9 miles. It's really quite hot and humid today. I've already had about 1.5 liters of water. I forced myself to finish all my water, and I just refilled both my bottles. So I have another 1.4 liters now to take me the 5 miles and possibly even the 10 miles. And I should be able to get water there where I'm staying for the night. So it's definitely a hot one though. I'm drinking way more than I have in the last couple of days, but I'm making an effort to consciously hydrate because I feel like I have been doing without. So that was the last of the water I bought at the store. So all my water now is from the pumps, and it's treated with iodine. So it has a little funny taste to me, but other than that, it's water and it's safe. So check back in a little while. Well, I'm at 15 Mile Creek. I just walked over to where Bill's is, but they're closed today on Monday and Tuesdays. So I will not be eating there. So I'm going to keep walking on. I've done 14.6 miles already today, and I'm going to keep going. I also ran into a scout troop. Actually, I ran into 2 of them, and then a venturing crew who advised me that the tunnel is in fact open and passable, and they had just gone through it this morning, following another group of cyclists, although after they did see a sign telling them that it was closed. So I guess it depends on what you want to do. If you want to not go, but he said it was easily passable, and it looks like there had been a barricade there at one point, but it was removed. So I guess I'll wait till I get there, but it looks like it's possible to make it to the tunnel and walk through it. So I'm hoping to do that. Passing through another aqueduct here, the gate. So I just confirmed with another group of cyclists that the tunnel is in fact navigable and passable, and they just rode through it. So it looks like I'll be doing that, hopefully. Check in again soon. Okay, I've been hiking now for about 8 hours and 7 minutes or so, according to my watch. It's 1:37. I'm hoping to reach the campsite by 2. I have less than a mile to go. It's a real hot and humid day. I'm definitely feeling it. I still have a lot of water. There should be water there, but in case not, I still have some. I have about a liter, so I'll have enough to hopefully make it to the night and get started early in the morning. I've gone about 22 miles so far. So I should finish around 23-mile mark for the day. I'm going to set up my tent and get settled in. And there's a possibility of thunderstorms later this afternoon. So I definitely want to be ready for those. So I'll have all my stuff set up and ready to go. And I'm hoping it cools down a little bit and some breeze comes through. Because this kind of humidity and heat is very oppressive. Other than that, it's been good. I haven't really seen a lot of people. I've been really surprised. Some of the other people I passed said this is not usual for this trail. Usually it's a lot more. So it's not as well traveled as it has been in the past. And I don't know what the reasoning is for that, except for perhaps travel restrictions from other places or people's concern over going out. But usually they tell me there's much more bicycle traffic than there's been, this week. So, okay, I'll check in when I get there. Well, it's about 2:15 now. I've been at the camp for about 20 minutes now. I've set my tent up. Just going to show you over there. So I got my tent set up. I got the place all to myself. I'm relaxing. I just checked out my feet. Both blisters are back with some fluid, but not as bad as before, so I'll take that as a good sign. I'm not going to take the KT tape off of it, and I do have this mark on my shoulder from where the strap has been cutting in, so I'll probably put a bandage or some KT tape over that for tomorrow's hike. But I'm going to leave it alone right now. I rinsed my shirt out just with some water, just to try and help it a little bit, and it's helping cool off as well. It's extremely hot. It's probably the mid-90s. I have no cell phone reception here. I can't send a text. I can't do anything. It's a small campsite, but it puts me in good places to jump off tomorrow. I was worried about the bypass trail, not because I was worried I'd have to do it, but I was worried about if I'd be able to go through the tunnel or not. And I'd like to see that. That's one of the highlights to me of this trail. And two groups passing me both said that they went through it and it was open. There was a sign that said keep out or it was closed or something like that. He says, but they were following another group and that group just went through. It is dark in there. It's just a tunnel. It's a 3,000 something foot tunnel. But, it's part of the trail, so I'd like to do it. If I have to go over, I will. I'll see when I get there what the signs say and, go on from there. I do have water. I just filled up some of my water bottles. The pump here is not the greatest. You really got to work hard to get your water. So I'm hopefully full up for now. I'll probably water up again before I leave. Before I go to bed. And this way in the morning I have full water. I don't have to obviously use the pump. It makes a lot of noise and it's really hard to use this one. So that's it. My feet are sore. They're itching a lot, whether I think they're healing and just in general. But other than that, I'm happy. I did the walk in, 8 hours and 30 minutes. I probably slowed down a little bit at times. I did take 2 breaks sort of. When I ran into Randy again, we probably talked for about 10 minutes, and then I was talking to another scout unit. So I'm going to hang out here, do what I usually do. I'm going to leave my feet alone. I'm going to finish setting up some of my equipment, blow up my pad, get my gear inside there, and I'm going to probably use this table and take a nap a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'll see if it rains later, and I'll do a recap. I want to edit some videos today. I'm behind a day or two. I can't upload anything, but at least I can have it ready for when I get to somewhere where I have reception, or if I do get reception on my way, maybe before I get to Cumberland. Definitely at Cumberland, the night I'm staying there, I'm hoping to upload a bunch of videos. So if I have them all ready to go, that would be great. So that's it for today, except for passing time and dinner. Unfortunately, it's another night that I'll have to spend out here. I have one more after this, and then Wednesday I expect to make it to Cumberland. The nights to me are the most terrible time. I actually cannot stand the nighttime. I wouldn't mind staying up and then just resting and then being able to walk again. Even though walking is preferred to that sometimes, it is just absolutely miserable to me. I feel terrible. I mean, I've felt that way before during camping, you know, because it's so hot. But this to me is just really bad. I'm sweating and I feel extremely slimy and dirty. So I'd like to take a shower. And even then, you know, after a couple of minutes sweating, you're back to being dirty again. So I'm hoping the temperature cools down. A breeze would be nice. I'm hoping that there's thunderstorms predicted, or possible, I should say. 40 or 50% chance is what I was told last. We'll see if that materializes or not. It would be good in a way because everything would cool down, but the water and the mud and just the rain might not be a good idea. But I would definitely like some wind to come through and help cool down the area. So that's it for now. Take care. About 3 o'clock, I heard a little bit of thunder and the sky started getting cloudy. So I decided to get in the tent. A couple of raindrops fell and then it stopped. But now there's much more thunder, and I'm really hoping it does actually rain. There goes that thunder. And you can also hear some people working the pump. They just stopped. The pump here is not very good. You really got to work it hard. So you earn your water here. Do a lot of pumping for a little water. So you can definitely hear the wind has picked up. The sky's gotten dark. And I'm wondering if the rain can't be far behind. I'm going to be prepared, if I have to close some of the flaps on the tent to prevent rain from blowing in. But we'll just have to wait and see. And the rain has come. Finally. Looks like I'm going to have to close some of the flaps. But it'll be the first rainstorm that I'll get in this tent, so we'll see how it performs. And it is definitely raining now. I don't think there was much rain predicted, so it hopefully won't be too long, but it'll definitely cool things down a little bit. So I have one side of the tent closed off. I have the doors closed, and the other one is open, giving me some ventilation right now. Okay, it's about 5:30 now. It rained for approximately an hour. The mosquitoes coming out now. You'll probably have to put some repellent on. They've been pretty non-existent, surprisingly, most of the trip. So haven't really had a problem with them. So I've been pleasantly surprised with that because I really thought there would be more of them. I'm going to be making my dinner now. It's grilled chicken pad thai. It says grilled chicken, but then over here it says thin noodles and pork. So I'm not sure what that means. I looked at the ingredients and I don't see pork though. So I think it's just chicken, and there's a typo. So yeah, the mosquitoes are definitely coming out. I'm gonna have to go get some stuff. It rained for about an hour and a half. Another band flew through after that, and then now the sun's out, as you can tell. Haven't seen any riders since the rain started, really. I imagine most of them have left the trail or head back somewhere or decided to camp wherever they are. So right now it looks like I might be by myself. And I don't think I've been by myself camping here. I was a little surprised to see Randy today because obviously he passed me 2 days ago. And I didn't expect to see him today, but I guess he held over in Hancock and stayed there. He said he had some, he was sore and just wanted to rest up. Okay, not quite done. Little wrap up. It's day 7 for me on the trail. It's Monday. I started a week ago, which was Tuesday. I'm at mile 149.4, which is Stickpile Hill. My goal tomorrow is to get up and walk to Pigman's Ferry, which is mile 169.1. So roughly 20 miles, just under 20 miles. And that'll put me toward the end of the trail. And then the last day, I'll have to do 16 miles to make it to Cumberland. I'm really glad to hear that the Pawpaw Tunnel is open, and I'm looking to go through that. And that's one of the highlights of the trip, I think, in some way, although it's just walking through a dark tunnel. But something about it. It's different. I'm still here by myself. I made my pad thai chicken. I wasn't a big fan. I don't like that type of flavor, I guess. Wasn't too spicy or anything for me, just something I don't like. So I definitely not a buy again. And it looks like I'm going to be here by myself already, since it's after 7 o'clock now and no one else has shown up. It's actually, it's almost 7 o'clock. Shows you how much I know. Hopefully I'll get a little nap now. And then usually at night I don't sleep very well because it's so hot and I'm just sticky and sweaty, and I just keep on catching little cat naps. If that's the case, I'm going to get up really early tomorrow and start doing my mileage. Depending on what happens, we'll see how far I go. But like I said, my plan is to do just to that Pigman's Ferry, and that'll put me in for a good day. Obviously, I'm within striking distance of making it in one day. If I wanted to really burn myself out and probably, kill myself in my feet, because I'm basically 35 miles away from Cumberland, which is probably doable if I just marched all day and all night, but that's just too much. I don't think I would do that. It would have to be an extreme circumstance for me to do that. I think I would really take my feet, and hurt them really bad by doing that. And just too much. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit cooler. At least some cloudiness would be nice. I don't know what the weather is supposed to be because I can't check it here. So I have no idea what the weather's going to be. Once I start walking and I get closer to the town of Pawpaw, I'm going to turn on my phone and hopefully I'll get some reception and I can at least find out what the weather is supposed to be. And if it's supposed to be like today with the storms again, hopefully they're in the afternoon and I'll already be where I need to be. If they're supposed to come earlier, then I guess we'll just have to decide to probably walk in the rain and worry about drying out anyway. I'm wet anyway. It makes no difference. It's just a matter of how wet I'm going to be. I don't even think I'd put my raincoat on. I'd probably get just as wet. I could just sit out the worst rain, find a tree or something, or set the shelter if I really needed to, for a half hour, an hour, let the rain pass and then start walking again if it's supposed to be in the morning. But I have no idea. So I'm going to pretty much hope that if I wake up in the morning and it's not raining, I'll pack up and I'll go. And whatever happens, happens. Take care. Till we meet again.